Hey guys, I'm Bhavesh Jain. I'm currently an instructor at Scalar Academy. So I'll discuss the problems of code drift. So it was organized for 2 days and the prerequisite was arrays. On the first day we had a very easy problem and a medium problem. On the second day we had a easy problem and a hard problem. So in this video I will discuss the problems of day 1. In the next video I will discuss the problems of day 2. So let's look at the first problem, the very easy problem, even product. So in this problem, you're given an integer array A containing n integers. You can perform a certain type of operation on this array A. You can select any number of elements from the array A and change it to whatever value you want. Initially, the product of the elements of the array A is odd. You need to find the total number of distinct operations modulo 10 raised to 9 plus 7 you can perform to make the product of the array even. Two operations are said to be different if there exists one element which is not selected in the other operation. So n is less than or equal to 10 to the power 5. AI is less than or equal to 10 to the power 6. So let's look at the sample examples 1 comma 3. So the answer is 3. We can select element at index 0 and change its value to 2. So the array will be 2 3 and the product will be 6, which is even. We can select element at index 1 and change its value to 10. So the array will be 110 and the product will be 10, which is even. We can select element at index 0 and 1 and change their value to 2. So the array will be 2 comma 2 and the product will be 4. So we can't perform any other operations on this array. So we have three possible choices of operations to make the product of the array even. So let's look at the solution outline. So if the product of the array is even, then if it has at least one even element, then the product will be definitely be even. So we want that there is at least one even element. So let's consider that the array is A1, A2, A3 and AN. So if we select any subset of this array which has at least one element, so it is not empty, then we can set that element to an even number and the product will be even. So for example, if the array is 1 3 5 7, then we can select, let's say, 1 and 5 and set this elements to 2, so the product will be even. So basically we can select any subset which is non-empty. So for the first element we have two choices whether we can take it or not. For the second element we also have two choices whether we can take it or not, and similarly for the last element. So these are the total number of subsequences, 2 raised to n. But we have to only consider the non-empty subsequences. So we'll subtract 1 because there is one empty subsequence where we don't take any element. So let's try to code it. So integer n will be the size of the array. So let's initialize it at a.size. And now we will initialize our answer as 1 and we will calculate 2 raised to n now. So we will have a loop of n. Also let's define mod because we need to calculate the answer modulo 10 raised to 9 plus 7. So mod is 1 in 9 plus 7. So answer equal to answer into 2 modulo mod. Again we need to subtract 1. So let's say answer minus minus and we will return answer. So let's check if this works. So it works here. Let's submit it. Okay, perfect. It works. So let's move to the next problem, the medium problem. Bribing was never easy. So in this problem, you are given n students labeled from 1 to n standing in a queue. Also, each student has certain number of coins with themselves, which they can use to bribe the student standing in front of them to exchange position. For example, if n equal to 6 and student 5 bribes student 4, then the queue will look like this. Because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 initially, so 5 and 4 will swap. So because student 5 bribes student 4. You are given an array A of size n which denotes the current state of the queue. You need to find the minimum number of bribes that took place to get the queue into the current state, or it is impossible to reach. So if a student contains x coins, then he or she can bribe at most x students in front of them. Bribing any student cost 1 coin. In a simple bribing event, students standing at index I can only bribe student standing at index I minus 1, and the new index of the student who bribed will be I minus 1. So n is less than or equal to 10 to the power 5, ai is less than or equal to n, and the coins are less than or equal to 100. So that's an interesting constraint. So let's look at this example. 2 1 5 3 4 and 2 2 2 2 2. So initial state we have 1 2 3 4 5. So student 5 bribes student 4. So this sequence will now be 1 2 3 5 4. Again student 5 bribes student 3. So now the sequence will be, so we'll swap 3 and 5, and the sequence will be 1 2 5 3 4. And now student 2 bribes student 1. So we'll swap 1 and 2, and this will be 2 1 5 3 4. So the final state is 2 1 5 3 4. And let's look at the second sample, 2 5 1 3 4. So student 5 will actually have to bribe 3 people because he needs to come ahead of 3 people. So but student 5 only has 1 coin, so answer will be -1 for this case. So let's look at the first sample. So initially student 5 bribed, so we'll swap 5 and 4, and then again 5 bribed, so we'll swap 5 and 3, and now 2 bribed, so we'll swap 2 and 1. So basically 5 bribed twice and 2 bribed once, so the total answer will be 3. But now let's try to form the sequence in reverse order. So basically we are given this final array. What if we will find the minimum number of operations to go from 2 1 5 3 4 to 1 2 3 4 5? So we'll actually do the reverse operation. So now reverse of the current operation was, we can swap I with I plus 1. So if I plus 1 bribes I, then we will swap I and I plus 1. So the element at position I will be swapped with element at position I plus 1, and this happens when I plus 1 bribes. So one coin of I plus 1 will be used, but the reverse operation will be I actually bribes I plus 1, and one coin of I will be used. So I and I plus 1 will be swapped. So for example, take this 2 1 5 3 4. The reverse operation will be 2 bribes 1. So one coin of 2 will be used, and now our sequence will be 1 2 5 3 4. Again 5 bribes 3. So because element at index I, so here the index is 3, will swap the element at index, will swap with element at index I plus 1, which is 4. So 5 will bribe, and the position of 5 and 3 will be swapped. So 1 2 3 5 4. Again 5 will bribe, so 5 will be swapped with 4, and now our operation will be 1 2 3 4 5. Final sequence will be 1 2 3 4 5. So consider the maximum element. So our final sequence was here 2 1 5 3 4. Consider the maximum element. So we will keep bribing it until it is at the last position. We are actually placing the numbers in order from 1 to n to 1. This is because, so consider this maximum element 5. If this index is I, if we bribe any element at index I plus 1 to n, then the position of 5 will not change. Similarly, if we bribe any element from index I minus 2 to 1, then the position of 5 will not change. But if we perform an operation at index I minus 1, the position of 5 will decrease, but we actually want to increase the position of 5 because we want to put it at the end of the array. So doing an operation on ith index is optimal. So basically this is equal to saying that we are performing operations from the last element to the first element. So let's try to see how this will work in this example. So here we were given that the B arrays, we can do 2 operations for any element. So first we have 5 here, so we will do an operation on this index. So we will swap 5 and 3. So our array will change to 2 1 3 5 4, and now initially all of the students had 2 coins, so now the student 5 will have 1 coin only. Similarly, we'll swap 5 and 4. So 5 will move to the end of the array, and 5 will now have 0 coins. So now for 4 and 3, the elements are intact, so we have them at the correct positions. So for 2, we will actually swap it because we want to move it to the next position. So we will swap 2 and 1. So this will be 1 and this will be 2. And the coins of 2 will decrease by 1. So our final answer will be 3. So how we will maintain the swapping operation? Basically, we'll keep maintaining the index of every element. So we'll keep an array index A j, which keeps the index of the element j in the array. So initially the index for 2 was, let's say, 1, index for 1 was, let's say, 2, index for 5 was 3, index for 3 was 4, index for 4 was 5. So let's try to implement it, and this will be more clear with implementation. So I'll implement it in C++. So let's again initialize n as length of a, so a dot size. And let's make a new array a n plus 1 and index n plus 1 because I want to consider the array 1 indexed. So for I1 to I less than or equal to n, I plus plus, ai will be a of I minus 1 and index of ai will be I. So now we'll move from nth element, so we'll move from the nth element to 1, so I greater than or equal to 1, I minus minus, because we are correcting the positions from the last element to the first element. So if it is already at the correct position, so index of I is equal I because the correct position for I is actually I. So we'll continue because we don't need to do anything. So let's call gap as the number of movements we have to do. So we need to put the current element to I, and we are at index, the ith element is at index I. So we'll have to do I minus index I swaps. So if this is negative, because notice that we can only move elements forward because we reverse the operation, so we will only move elements forward. So if gap is negative, that means we have to place an element before. So if I minus index I is negative, that means I is less than index I. So basically index I is the current position which is actually greater than the position which we want to place. So if this is negative, then this is not a valid operation, so we will have to return -1 because we cannot form the array. Or gap is greater than the number of coins. So each swap costs 1 coin, and we know that the element I has so bi coins. So actually this will be bi minus 1 because the array b is 0 index. So if this is true, we will return -1 because if gap is negative, that means we need to place it before, and that is not possible. If gap is greater than bi minus 1, that means we have to do swaps which are greater than the number of coins. So we'll return -1 because that's not possible. Again, now we will do swaps. So for int j equal to index of I is the current index and j is less than I, j plus plus. So we will move the element at index I to I because we want to place the element I at index I. So we'll swap a of j and a of j plus 1. So we'll move the element j forward. Again, we need to change the index as well. So we need to update our index as well. And this could simply be done using swapping index of aj with index of a of j plus 1. Also, let's keep an answer because that's what we need to calculate. So if this is not the case, gap is not negative and gap is less than greater than b minus 1, that's not the case, and then we can simply increase our answer by gap because that's the minimum number of swaps we have to do. And finally we'll simply return answer. So let's try to test it. So it works for the sample cases. Let's submit it. Okay, so it works. So the time complexity is actually O of n into this gap, and we know that this gap will be, so we have a loop of from index I to I, which is actually I minus index I. So we have a loop of gap here, and we know that gap will not be greater than bi minus 1. That is, gap will be less than equal to the value at b, and we know that the values in b are actually less than or equal to 100. So the coins are actually less than or equal to 100. So our total time complexity will be n into 100. So I hope the problem was clear to you. Also, we will be coming with more such contests with the same format. So please subscribe our channel and click the bell button to receive the notifications for more such videos. Thank you.